Greetings, everyone. I want to welcome you here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So it's July 1st, Canada Day, here in Upper Canada or Ontario or whatever you want to call it. And we're here to do Monday night's normal show, which is look back at a classic rock album, which features albums that are 15 years and older, that are twos, ones, or masterpieces. I've picked an album out of my playlist. It's a new album for me as far as owning an album, but I'm very well familiar with this album. My friend had it. Initially, I never liked it because it was, to my way of thinking, too poppy. And back then, in my late teens, early teens, mid-teens, whatever you want to call it, I was very much into hard rock. And this just seemed too poppy to me, but this is absolutely a brilliant album. We're talking about Pete Townsend's Empty Glass. Fantastic album. Absolutely killer. I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about it when I bought it. I knew there was a couple tracks on it that were popular on the FM radio at the time period, and I liked both tracks. But I wasn't sure what the deep feel was going to be for it. So it's been on my playlist for about 5 months now, and I absolutely think this album is brilliant. I think it's a brilliant album. I'm a bit of a hesitant person to use the word genius because I think it is vastly overused where rock stars are concerned. To me, there may be 3 or 4 guys in rock history that are brilliant, and that brilliant to the point of genius. This guy is probably the best of those 4. Other ones, Frank Zappa. Yes, I have to give kudos to Frank Zappa, even though I don't listen to him. The guy's a genius. Absolutely no way about it. There's a couple of other guys. Man, I'm not going to get into who they are or what I think of them at this point in time, but too many people throw that term around as if it's candy. You know, everybody's a genius. That guy's a genius. This guy's a genius. Everybody's a genius. You know what happens when you got everybody being a genius? It doesn't really mean anything anymore, does it? You know, this guy definitely qualifies, though. So the album we're doing today is, of course, this one, Empty Glass by Pete Townsend. I believe this was his second studio album, released April the 21st, 1980, a few days after I turned 16. I didn't get it at the time. My friend bought it. I didn't get it. In 1980, I was really much into Sabbath and Rush and stuff, and this just didn't measure up, so I didn't go there. Released in the studio, recorded in Wessex Sound in London, UK, and Eel Pie in London, UK as well. About 34, close to 35 minutes long, so a little bit on the short side, but absolutely brilliant in every other aspect. Epic is the label it's on, and was produced by Chris Thomas. So appearing on the album, of course, Pete Townsend doing the vocals, guitar, and some synthesizers here as well. John Rabbit Bundrick playing the straight keys and backing vocals. Tony Butler on bass and backing vocals on tracks 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 9, and 10. So basically backing vocals. Simon Phillips on drums, on drum tracks 2 to 4, 7, 9, and 10. And then you have James Asher doing the drums on tracks 5 and 6. Kenny Jones of The Who playing drums here on track number 1. Mark Brzezinski, I think that's how you pronounce it, drums on tracks 8. And then Pete Hope Evans playing a harmonica on track number 7. So there are, to my knowledge, I don't know if I have my keys. Oh, I do. Look at that. I did manage to remember to put my glasses here on the stand. So this album has 10 tracks. Standard album. Standard size, standard album size, standard number of songs. I would call this a poppy album with some hard, catchy, rhythmatic tracks on it as well. So it opens up with the one song that I've liked off of the album almost since the first time I heard it, and that's Rough Boys. This is a kind of a heavy pop song. You know, maybe power pop might be a term you used. Wasn't used at that time period, but definitely a song that would fall within that range. It's heavy, he's menacing on it, and I think his vocals are great. I think the track is really good and lots of catchy hooks on it. The next song, I Am an Animal, this one is really good as well. It's probably one of the deep cuts on the album. Classic Pete Townsend sound to his voice. Lyrics are good. The lyrics on this album are brilliant, so I'm not going to go on talking about them in every song, but they're absolutely brilliant, I think. And I Moved, really great track. One of the better tracks on this album. I think he's building as he goes along on this album, and lots of good, solid guitar riffs here too. And then you got the big hit, Let My Love Open the Door. This one, a little poppy, but catchy as hell. Lots of hooks. It's a love song, but not what I would call a ballad in any way, shape, or form. Sorry. Excellent song. Easily the big hit on the album. Jules and Jim. Another kind of interesting song. Keep on working, oh keep on working. Yeah, I like this track. It's kind of melodic. It's kind of reminiscent of the way things were in the 1980s, I think. Very representative of the time period. A cool song. I like the lyrics. I like the little catchy riff that goes on throughout that track. One of my favorite deep cuts on this album, Cat in the Cupboard. You gotta set 'em free, cats in the cupboard. Yeah, Pete Townsend sounding great on this. I like Cats a lot. The song was really catchy. Lots of hooks on this one as well. A Little Is Enough. This one really a lyrical thing that kind of hits you if you're caught up in this kind of feeling. Excellent song. I do like this song a lot. I think it's one of the better tracks on the album as well. Then you end up with the last two tracks, Empty Glass, which is the title track. Good song. Not one of my favorites, but I do like it. And then Gonna Getcha ends up the album. This one's a bit of a longer track. Lots of piano on this track as well. Real catchy. Excellent end to an excellent album. Like I said, brilliant album by one of the people I consider to be an actual genius in rock music. And I don't use that term lightly. If you go back and look at my videos, I may have used it one other time, but that's it. So it's definitely he qualifies for it and is well deserving. There's a few others, like I said, Frank Zappa is one of them who I think is qualified as a genius as well. After that, I'm not going to give you a whole lot. There may be one or two others. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of looking back at a classic rock album featuring Pete Townsend's Empty Glass. If you have, please hit the like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell above. And if you have any comments about the album or Pete Townsend or The Who or any of that stuff, you can put them in the comment section below. And I look forward to seeing you next week on Look Back at a Classic Rock Album. Take care and have a good day.